Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie, I am a digital artist and I turn my playful doodles into colourful illustrations and stationery. I thought I would sit down with a cuppa and reflect on my 2025 and talk about my 2026 goals. So of course this time next year I'm hoping that I'll be able to look back on this video and reflect on this. But I don't have that for 2025 and I have a terrible memory. So what I have done is I've had a nosy through my Instagram and I have screenshot some things that happened throughout the year. Okay, so in March 2025, I launched my spring collection, which was my Patrick Puddled Up in Tulip Town collection. And I think this was my second collection. However, my first collection was October 2023. So if this was my second collection in March 25, that would mean that I didn't have any collections launch in 2024. Which seems like a long time, but I'm wondering whether maybe I didn't have a specific collection. I just launched products to add to my range, which would make sense because my first collection wasn't a specific collection, it was a few different items. So I'm taking that back, I'm rewinding that. 2025 March, this was my first official collection where it was all around the same like character and illustrations, whereas thinking about it before, I had my mushy, I had my snails, I had some pumpkins, so that was my first like stationery launch but not collection. Okay, I'm remembering now, it's coming back to me. So that was March 2025. And in that same month, I did my first art event. It was an art fair, it's called Brill Art on the Hill. I have obviously done markets in the past, but this was the first time I did an art show because I think the imposter syndrome was real and I didn't think that I could do an art show. And there are two parts to this art show. There are rooms like a gallery where obviously artists display their work, and then there's a marketplace, and I was in the marketplace, so it was like doing a fair. But yeah, that was the first time I joined and it was a really lovely event. I can't do it this year because I'm doing another event, but yeah, it was a really lovely event. So the next thing I have screenshot is September. So we've skipped a few months. So I'm not quite sure what happened in between March and September. I think I was just prepping for this launch. So September was my Procrastiplanner launch, which has been my best launch to date. So I think over the summer I was just designing and making products for this. So that launched in September. I then also celebrated my 6th business birthday and I did a post about taking a trip down memory lane. I shared sort of how I started to where I was at that point. I then attended my first planner event, which was Southwest Planner Club, and I had the best time. I didn't really know what to expect, but it was so much fun. It was like working and playing all at the same time. So it was so much fun. I'm really hoping I get to go this year again. But there I had my new setup. We had made some shelves, me and my husband. He helped me create some new shelves. And yeah, that was an interesting experience because I used a jigsaw for the first time, as in a cutting jigsaw, not a jigsaw puzzle, and like an electric sander, and yeah, we created my new display, which I absolutely love. And it was at Southwest Planner Club that I did my first journaling workshop. So I will insert a picture of, so there were two journaling workshops. One of them was, there was like a video on the screen, and the person, I can't remember, sorry, who it was chatting along. And I sat there with this kit, not having a clue what to do. I had absolutely no idea what to do with it. And you'll see what I came up with in apparently a 45-minute workshop. Then the next workshop was with Georgia from Hand Drawn by Maddie, and she is a friend of mine and was very helpful because she basically just said, just stick it down, just do it, just stick it down. And she obviously knew that I was a bit nervous and came over to me and was like, here, rip this, stick that, rip this, stick that. And it's not a full finished page, but again, I will insert the picture of the page I did. And it kind of got me hooked, to be honest. I left the event and I did a few more pages, and I've been journaling since. I think what I love about it is, so if you don't know, when I started my business, I was a handmade card business. So I was stamping and cutting and die cutting and, you know, colouring in, all of that stuff. So I loved that hands-on-ness, but it just wasn't working for me as a business. So then when I, you know, started doing this journaling, I was like, it's a very similar experience. I'm cutting, I'm drawing, I'm stamping. It's a very similar thing. And yeah, I've been absolutely loving it. And I am incorporating journaling into my business. I will move on to this in a minute. But I'm absolutely loving it. Then I ended September winning the Theo Pathetus Small Business Sunday Award, which, if you don't know, it runs every week. So on a Sunday evening, it's something like between 5 and 7, you can post your pitch basically about your business, and they choose winners every week. So I've done it quite a few times over the last few years, but I hadn't posted for a long time. And I changed my wording of my pitch. I saw it come up, so I thought, I'm just gonna do it. And then the next day I got tagged and I was a winner. So yeah, very surprised, but I'm very excited because they do an annual event. I don't really know what it is, but they do an annual event which is in February. So I will be heading up to Birmingham and yeah, networking and meeting other winners, and yeah, so that was a really lovely ending to September. Then in October, I took part in the Tame Art Crawl. So Tame, where I live, is a town, and every year there's an art crawl where everyone that takes part has their work displayed in shop windows around the town, which is really lovely. Every time it ends, I hate it because, no offence to the shops, but the shop windows go back to being, most of them anyway, go back to being quite boring. Whereas when the art crawl is on, it's all lovely and arty. So I don't have anything else screenshot, and I think that's because November, December time is a busy time doing Christmas markets. And this year they were all worse than the previous year. Oh no, actually one I did that I've done before was better, actually. It was the best one I've done there. But everything else, everything was a bit worse. I tried a few new ones. I did a 4-day event, which was too much for me. It was too much for me. I mean, the positive was that I didn't have to set up and take down every day. I set up on Tuesday evening and I didn't have to pack down until I finished on Saturday evening. But it was just a lot. Commuting every day. It wasn't, it was busy in moments, but not as busy as how I've been told that it has been before. I just don't think it wasn't my people. This is one thing that I have been obviously trying to figure out over the years, is where is my market, where are my people? And you know, I wouldn't say I'm quite niche, because I don't think I am that niche, but with my people I'm not niche, but in maybe that area or in my town I am niche. And you know, a lot of people think that my products are for children because my illustrations are playful, but that isn't the case. You know, some of my obviously products can be used for kids, you know, like notebook stickers. Who doesn't love stationery? But I think it can get misconstrued sometimes that that's my target audience. So yeah, November, December was just a busy time doing markets, and I was burnt out. I was absolutely shattered. I wasn't really posting on social media. It was a lot. I was just absolutely knackered. So I spent the Christmas period trying to recover. So that was my November and December. And one thing I normally do is like a vision board, and I have been trying to find my vision board for last year and I couldn't find it. But what I did find was, I think this is what I did last year, and I had it stuck up on my wall. So the word of the year was balance. And this completely changed because at the time that I set that word of the year, I was juggling 2 businesses. So I still have a second business. It's Small Biz Society, and I run a monthly accountability group for women in business. But a year ago, when I was thinking about the year ahead, I was really trying to juggle the 2. I was doing a podcast, I was doing a membership online. So I said my word of the year was balance, and I wanted to try and balance both businesses, post to social media, you know, equally on both, rather than going all in on one and, you know, dropping the other, then all in on that and dropping the other. But very, very quickly in January, I think I'd posted once on that Instagram page, and I very, very quickly thought, oh, I don't think I want to do this. So the whole balance thing completely went out the window because I paused Small Biz Society. Apart from my in-person group, we still meet every month and it's so lovely, but I haven't put it out there to you know, for new people to join or anything like that. It's just the people that are there, and so it's not, I wouldn't say it was a business because it's not making me loads of money, but I love it. Like, I always come away feeling better, and to see how, like, where everyone has come. So I started it, I think it'll be 3 years next month. You know, for those that have been there since the start, to see where they are now is amazing. But yeah, so I don't think I did a vision board. I just had some goals. Oh yeah, I do have some goals. So see if I stuck to them, shall we? So my goals for Mama Bear Creates: have a range of patterns and downloads for sale. No, that didn't happen. Launch a Patreon. No, that didn't happen. I launched a Patreon, but I think that was the year before, and then I very quickly closed it. So no, I did not launch a Patreon last year. Find some fairs and events throughout the year. So this did kind of happen. So I did the Brill Art on the Hill. I did a village fete in May, but I no longer do outdoor fairs. And then I found Southwest Planner Club in the September. So I did find a few, but this year coming, I found a lot more, but that are more targeted to me. So I'm very excited this year that I have got several stationery, plannery type of events booked in throughout the year, because normally I rely on November, December time for like a big part of my income with those Christmas markets. So obviously when they didn't go that well this year, I really panicked. But I'm hoping that because I've got some sort of throughout the year, that I'm not going to have to rely so much at Christmas, and I won't have to book as much in at Christmas, which I'm hoping means I won't be as burnt out. Fingers crossed. So then I had my Small Biz Society goals, which, considering what I just said, I'm assuming you can guess that they didn't happen. Relaunched my podcast. I loved my podcast, but as somebody that my mental health really fluctuates throughout the month, and having to show up, booking a time with somebody else and having to show up, if I feel rubbish, I'm not giving my all. And I really struggled with that. Like when I was, no one else might notice, but when I was editing, I can hear in myself that I'm not all there, if that makes sense. So as much as I would absolutely love to do my podcast again, I'd need to find a way that I can do it. I don't know. I'd need to find a way that I can do it around rubbish mental health and, the chance that I might book someone in at a certain week in the month, and then that week I feel horrific and don't want to do it. Collab with other businesses. No. Be consistent without burning out. Well, I wasn't consistent because I just stopped that business. And then my personal goals were regular exercise for mental health and self-confidence, monthly family activity and more time together. I mean, we spent some time together, we did some activities, but yeah, no. And regular date nights. We did have a few date nights last year. Well, yeah, we did have a few. I don't know whether they were as regular as, whatever regular is. But yeah, I'd say we had some quite regular date nights. Okay, so moving on to my 2026 goals. This year, my vision board, I have done it as a scrapbook style, and it's up on my wall in front of my desk. So if I'm looking at it, you know why, but I will insert an image so you can see it. So I haven't gone vision boardy as in, so the year before last, I had a digital vision board with lots of different photos and, things that I wanted. So like I had an image of a microphone for my podcast, and an image, I think, of somebody having a facial because I wanted to have regular spa days. That didn't happen either. So this year I haven't done that, but I have just made it colourful and playful and with things I love. I've put my word of the year, which is rise. I have put 3 goals. So goal number 1 is YouTube. And I am filming for YouTube, but obviously I'm not going to tick that off just yet, because it's easy to start something, but to continue with something is where things get hard. But this is why I said I am not going to necessarily specify how often I am putting out videos, because I don't want to promise something and not deliver. So I think when I set this goal originally, I thought if I could get 12 videos out in the year, so that's like one a month, I would be happy. And anything more than that would be a bonus. So that is goal number one, to share my journey here, and just try to be semi-consistent with it. Yeah, just have another platform to share my work and my life and all the things. Goal number two is to launch journal kits. So I'm just going to show you something to talk about this one. Okay, this is my journal. So bearing in mind, I only started 3 months ago. Look how thick it is. In October, I created this spread. So I already had sticker sheets. So I launched my sticker sheets for the first time in September. So I had a few deco sticker sheets. So I had this like Halloween-y, spooky vibes one. And I had a pattern that I had drawn. So I decided to print my own paper. And I created this spread with my own pattern paper and my stickers. And I thought this would be perfect to add onto my business. Like a kit that's got, I'm thinking, a patterned paper and then like a complementary paper, and then some deco stickers and some letter stickers. So yeah, so that is my plan this year, is to launch some journal kits. I'm not quite sure when at the moment. I think my aim is to launch them in March, and I don't know the details yet. I'm still playing around with sort of sizings and all of the things, and like themes. I'm not quite sure how, like what themes I'll do, but that is a plan for this year. So I can use some of my own in my journal, and others can use it too. And then goal number 3 says wholesale. So I am on Fair, which if you don't know is a wholesale website. But I'm rubbish with it, basically. I'm rubbish with it. So I would like to sort it out and enable my products to be able to go wholesale. I'm not in any shops. I was in a shop where I had to pay rent, and I find that most of the shops, I got accepted to a shop recently and I had to turn it down because I couldn't afford it. I was a bit gutted. I didn't know the details when I applied, so then when I found out, I was a bit sad that I had to turn it down after being accepted. But I can't at the moment afford what a lot of them are. So I would really like to sort my wholesale stuff out so people can buy from me to stock in their shops. So they're my 3 main goals for this year. And then I just have on there my values, which I set probably around this time last year. Well, I've done values a few times over the last few years with different courses I've done, like with business strategists. That's one word I really struggle with. So yeah, I've done my brand values a few times, but I sort of came back to them again last year, and I've stuck with these ones. So they are playful, authentic, and community. They're three things that are really important to me. So I have them up there as well, just to remind me kind of my values in my business. So that is it, and that is yeah, we shall see what happens this year. Obviously this time next year I could be sitting saying I didn't do any of these things, but I like to set some goals. I don't keep it rigid. Obviously, you know, like I was saying, this time last year I set these goals and then within a few weeks completely changed my mind and went in a whole different direction. So I don't like to put too much pressure on myself that it all has to go to plan, but I do like to have something to work towards. Oh, my nose is tickling. Ooh. So yeah, here we are with a whole year ahead of us, and let's see what happens this year. If you have liked this video and you want to follow along to see what happens in 2026, please do subscribe and like this video, and I will see you in the next one.